There we are. Welcome, one and all. We're live. Of course, Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. And if you're watching on a Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, it is of course time for the High Noon Hemp Show. Beach has to pop out for a minute because he cannot hear me. For some reason, we go live. My audio goes out for him. I don't know why. Such a very weird glitch. In any case, welcome everybody to your favorite hemp infotainment show, the High Noon Hemp Show, the season finale of the High Noon Hemp Show. And Beach is now back and now can hear me when I tell you all that you can find the show on the Temptations Beach Facebook page, also the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel. And if you were on X or if you still call it Twitter, either way, follow at Temptations on there. I'm, of course, Stoner Jesus. I do various things in the interwebs you can check out if you feel like it. He is Beach. He loves hemp, and he's high above the Temptations and the Flower Factory in Northside Beach. How are things this week? Looking very cool in the week of Temptation, in the world of Temptations, rather.
Well, welcome everyone to Camp Swag. It is the High Noon Hemp Show. Today's episode is we're at Camp Swag, so welcome campers to the High Noon Hemp Show, Camp Swag. I am your counselor, Beach. It is true, I am high above the Temptations in Northside and the Flower Factory in Northside. And we welcome you we're going to pack the whole camp into one day, just probably an hour or so. And so, welcome. All right. You see, I got my Camp Swag hat on too. It'll make more sense even when we get to later in the show when you ask, what are you wearing, Beach?
All right.
So, anyway, remember everybody, the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. You can hear the sirens going off still. They're letting you know. Season finale, High Noon Hemp Show, 29 season. Next week, I talked to the executives before the show, and we have been signed up for another year.
Sweet.
Still no syndication deals. I mean, you know, we're at 300 plus episodes, and I still haven't gotten any syndication deals. But we will be back for season 30. Season 30. We'll be celebrating 31 years in Temptations. I forget. I mean, it's 3 weeks away.
Right.
September 1st will be 31 years for season 30 in the High Noon Hemp Show. All right, well, let's go ahead, campers, and do the pledge. Mm-hmm. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. And I will have to say that I'm slightly disappointed in myself for not coming up with a camp song. But, you know, it would have started something like, oh, Camp Swag, we do love you. Anyway, we have 114 days until the federal ban. We have to remove Section 781 or do something about it. Now, everybody's all excited because we have this new bipartisan bill that's going to get attached to a spending bill. And it's going to basically set up possibly a regulatory system or whatnot. But all it really does is it puts a ban on the ban for a month. Like, why do we need a ban on the ban for a month? Why can't we figure out in the next month how to get this stuff worked out? I mean, I don't understand it at all. I mean, if the original ban was a year, why can't we make this ban on the ban for a year? I'm just so dumbfounded by this whole thing, honestly, that I don't get it. And all I can tell you is this is another attempt by the conservatives to win your vote in the midterms. They're going to come out and be like, oh, yeah, we're saving the hemp farmers, and we're saving the hemp industry in every state where this is a dilemma. You're great now, whatever. But they're not going to tell you it's for a month. They're going to brag about doing something so they can boost their following, or their whatever constituency, as it is called. Um, and it's disgusting. It's like, it is just pure disgusting. Something needs to be done about this, and I get it. It's a bipartisan thing. But the reason the conservatives, the Republicans, are getting behind it is for the midterms. I mean, of course, the Democrats would be behind it. I mean, they should be behind it. Any Democrat that's not behind it shouldn't be a Democrat. I mean, they should be fighting harder for our cannabis rights, not fighting less for our cannabis rights. There's something weird going on with my YouTube feed. You're still there, right?
Yeah, everything's good on our end. On my end,
No,
so
maybe it's just my internet. I don't know. Anyway, and so again, it's great that they're doing something and they're bringing it to the attention. But if it really is just for a month, what is the purpose? What is the purpose? We have until December. Try to get us through the holidays. Because guess what? You take away people's legal hemp products around the holidays, and they're going to be very upset about you. I mean, November is no big deal, but trust me, they want them for Thanksgiving. They need them for Thanksgiving. Anyway, it's just, if this is really the case, if this is what they're doing, it's just ridiculous. Now, I also have a sneaking suspicion that no spending bill is going to get signed until after the midterms.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it shuts down the government, the Democrats will be happy to shut down the government, to stand up to this administration, because that's what their constituents want them to do. And the Republicans can say, "Oh, the government shut down because of the Democrats all they want to," but I still think it works in the Democrats' favor in the midterms. Again, these are just my opinions. I am not a political person. I try to avoid all politics unless it's cannabis related, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, unfortunately, I pay attention to everything more than I should, so I know how these things usually work out. Anyway. So we'll see. Until something is done, we're still sticking to that November 18th, November 13th. I wonder if it's a Friday. I haven't checked. Because if it is a Friday, then that makes complete sense as why they picked that date. I think it was mere coincidence as to when the bill was.
Wow.
I don't know.
November 13th is a Friday.
Oh, my Lord. Can't believe I'm just now learning this, folks. Doomsday for the hemp industry is Friday the 13th.
There you go.
Oh man! Well, discovering this around the holiday season, around the Friday the 13th season, we got a little bit till October or whatnot. But anyway, well, I'm sure gonna be working that one out now. Oh wow! Now we'll see how many people watch the show and go out there and make some AI generated Friday the 13th hemp crapola. Yeah, I thought it was for AI, even for fun, but now apparently I just have to be against AI for everything.
Right. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I can. No, I am not a Luddite, and I am definitely not a technological Luddite. I'll make the same argument that I feel like should be made by everyone. Why can't they just make these data centers more efficient? I mean, I don't understand why can't they have a whole rooftop of solar for energy? In my mind, I think the perfect idea would be to build a moat around these suckers that cools the water, goes in one end,
There you go.
does what it's supposed to do and cools it, because the water waste is like huge. It's massive. So why not reuse that water? Cool it on one end. And you know what I mean? This is not hemp related, but I feel like it should be somehow. I don't know. No. Anyway, that's my rant on a non-hemp subject. So, all right, folks, let's get on with the High Noon Hemp Show with the product spotlight. The
Indeed.
first one from the store out of 4 are some Hemptations roach clips. These were personally made for the store. Here they come. Here they are. And they spell Hemptations, and they're obviously in the store colors.
Mm-hmm.
And so roach clips are kind of making a comeback now that pre-rolls are so popular. People aren't, and people are still rolling their joints, but it's so funny because even most joint rollers use tips either way. But we are seeing a kind of a return to the roach clip need in the world because of how popular pre-rolls are these days. So
Indeed.
get you a Hemptations one. Look classy with a Hemptations hemp roach clip. Chances are the paper is hemp that your pre-roll is in anyway. And again, you can buy some hemp here, put it in some hemp pre-rolls that we sell, and just look at all that hemp.
Right.
How about a little a handmade Planet Everywhere bag? This is just a little simple shoulder bag with a hemp woven um, uh, top part there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just a cute little bag. But once again, handmade at Planet Everywhere, right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the Planet Everywhere manufacturing
Mm-hmm.
facility, which is no longer in operation, but was in heavy rotation for a while. Um, then, how about some Mary Hempster's dog salve? This is like skin issues, things like that. Injuries maybe, but this is and this is just hemp oil. There's no CBD. This is old school hemp oil, um, and so and again, easily used on humans if you needed it to. If you needed to, I would see I would see this being something that would work well on like dry patches of skin. I don't know how a lot of those skin disorders. I don't want to call it a disorder because that makes it sound like again, that your skin looks like your skin, and if it's not killing you, then why care? But a lot, society has us worrying about the way we look all the time, and so people do. And they're always trying to sell some medicine for these skin ailments so that you look normal, which is ridiculous because you do look normal for you. Anyway, who knows if that would benefit someone or not? But it's good for the skin. Dogs, humans, cats, most mammals probably, honestly, can benefit from the use of hemp oil and the skin if they needed it. Either way. And the last but not least is some Blue Ridge, and these are little roll-ons, speaking of skin. And so I think these were good. I had a customer in this week wanting to know about what would be best for migraines. And, the first option is the tincture. If you feel like something's coming on, tincture under the tongue, it's in the system. If it's going to help, it's going to help instantly. I think these roll-ons would also be something good to hit the temples with the roll-on. I think that even just like on the wrist, but even if you have soreness somewhere, then obviously these roll-ons would be a way to target the soreness. And when you use CBD topically it stays topically, so to speak, because it does not go into the bloodstream. And so where you use it, where you put it on in your skin, is where it will stay, where it will go to work. And so, any place that you may need it, and our customers, again, use it as a topical for pain relief because of its anti-inflammation abilities. And again, that's testimony. That's not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving any medical advice. But 9 out of 10 of my customers that I've talked to about why they use topicals, I should say 10 out of 10. It's not even 9 out of 10. I cannot think of one instance where a customer that uses topicals told me they weren't using it for pain relief. So,
Yep.
and again, that's testimonial. That's testimonial. To be clear to the FDA, who has not evaluated the show for safety or efficacy, I am not making any medical claims.
That's right.
And the last but not least, one from my door is my toothbrush. This is the Radius. And these are the toothbrushes, of course, we sell in the store. And I think I have them listed on eBay. So if you're looking, no matter where you live, you're looking for a new toothbrush. And these are like super cool because the heads are replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got your hemp composite handle, and then you have your replaceable head, and you have a soft head and you have a medium head choice. But this is my choice, which is the one that I use every day on the boat. And then I have one that travels with me if I travel as well. So either way, and I keep the heads once I'm done with them, because then if I need to, say, clean something with that head, I can put that back on there and use it to clean, and then just take it back off and put my mouth brush back on there. So I reuse my heads for cleaning purposes, because nothing cleans grout and surfaces like that better than a toothbrush. Honestly, again, if you don't use a hard bristle toothbrush to focus on really dirty areas and grout or whatever and corners and whatnot, then you're not reusing your toothbrush in the proper manner as you should. It means you probably just threw it away, which means it's going to go be in the landfill for 100 years because it's plastic and crap.
Mm-hmm.
But not your hemp toothbrush. Use it for life, or when you're done with it, if you want to, again, chuck it in the yard. Bury it in the yard. It is biodegradable as well. And so, not the heads, probably, because the heads are a plastic. But the handle itself is 100% biodegradable, which means even if you chuck it in the old trash can, at least it's going to go out to the landfill and be biodegraded there. And it's all the plastic's going to make fun of it as it deteriorates away, like, ha ha, we're going to be around for 100 years and you're going away.
Mm-hmm.
And the head's going to be like, yeah, that's the purpose.
It's a good impression.
Yeah, right? If I used AI, I'd have AI make me a video that illustrated all of that.
Right.
But I get lambasted when I used AI, and I can't take it. I can't take it.
Internet people.
I did recover well from the stoner hemp brain disease situation, and I am living daily with my stoner hemp brain disease, and thank you, audience, for being there and giving me the show, because it is my medicine.
Right. Just trying to live a normal life.
Just trying to live a normal life over here every day.
Uh,
That being said, folks,
Mhm.
let's get on with it.
Means it is time for the greatest segment in internet history. Of course, the beachwear segment. And of course, the beachwear segment, we talk about Beach's extensive hemp clothing collection, all of the hemp records that he has set and currently holds. And of course, we chronicle those and we talk about those because, as you mentioned before, the Guinness World Records organization has a strict policy against talking about hemp or cannabis or bestowing any sort of records or even recognizing the fact that these things happen or they were even here. They just don't care. But what they
Okay.
do care about is, well, the important stuff in life, like longest sock slide, 355 inches, is what it sounds like. It is a grown man sliding on socks and seeing how far he can slide. The answer is 355.35 inches.
I'm gonna start training in hemp socks, and I'm going for 420 inches.
Look at this. There's a crew.
The crew.
There's a crew from the Guinness World Records with measuring tape, all for this man sliding in his socks. And now he's a world record holder. Welcome, good job, Maxwell Rusin. Congratulations on your auspicious record, I guess. Something you can tell your grandkids about. The time that were you were a Guinness World Record holder for sliding in your socks. Why? I don't know. It's just, it's clickbait.
Because you can do it. Somebody
I just
had
want you
to.
to look at it. But what we are talking about, well, it's slightly more important. And yes, if you can do some sliding on some hemp socks beach, that might get their attention. Just don't tell them it's hemp socks, or they'll say, no, no, you must have cotton socks. You must have something horrible for the environment before you start sliding. We're not even going to send a crew. Because that's the way they are, the Guinness World Records. Anyway, so we will do it. We'll talk about the records. We'll talk about Beach's hemp collection, especially when it comes to the clothing. When I ask Beach one easy question, what are you wearing, Beach?
That's right. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beats? For Camp Swag Week on the High Noon Hemp Show, now you will know. So, excuse me. Up top there is the old Camp Swag head case hat. I'm breaking head case records. This outfit will set. I'm not breaking anything. I'm setting the record for most amount of head case worn in one outfit. So head case on the old head. That is also a head case Camp Swag t-shirt. Those shorts are Dash Hemp. You can go to Dash Hemp and check out their clothing now. They are still out there, still kicking it. But underneath those Dash Hemp are a pair of head case boxers. So that's three different head case clothing there. Don't forget that Green Springs Technology pen in the pocket. That pen, I should say, Green Springs set the record as most seen object during What Are You Wearing Beach.
Indeed.
The socks are some Ono socks underneath those Levi. That's right, Levi high tops.
Wow.
Possibly the only Levi hemp shoes that exist. I can't say that's true, but possibly. I'm not, I might have to do a little bit of research to see if they ever made any other shoes with hemp. But there you have it. There you have it. It's a rare outfit indeed. With the head case stuff alone, because what you have to understand there, and this is of course something that we always said, is that this stuff would last forever. Every piece of head case clothing that I have on is at least 20 years old. I can almost say maybe 25 years old. A testament to hemp, a testament to what Headcase was doing, because they were doing it right back in the day. and it was definitely sorry to see, that they didn't last as long as they could. Now, Headcase, New Jersey still may exist, but I do not believe that they make hemp products anymore. I know they were bought out. And that was officially their name, Headcase, New Jersey, I believe. So anyway, there you have it. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? It's Camp Swag, folks.
That's right.
Now you know. Here on the High Noon Hemp Show. Well, we had the old politicking yesterday in the world. So whenever we got the politicking going on, I always feel like I have to show the debate commercial. So here you go with this is my favorite 1 minute commercial. This was just whoever wrote this and starred in this was pure genius, just pure genius.
What is your stance on hemptations?
I am pro hemptations.
I am anti-hemptations. It is said hemptations has the largest selection of hemp on the planet. Thoughts?
My opponent would say food and fiber, but I say CBD and plastics.
Simply not false.
I would go on to add body products and paper.
What's the one location you want everyone to know about?
Well, they are all great. So start with the one closest to you.
I say venture out to the store furthest from you. Closing words? Use hemp to help the planet. Help the planet by using hemp. Having temptations?
I am having temptations.
The Beach triplets. We really should have your brothers on the show. We have done that.
Did you hear the echo?
No.
Huh,
I didn't.
weird. I like the whole thing was echoed here. Good. I'm glad no one heard the echo. That's right. The Beach triplets in full force there.
That's right. Combining for commercial making.
That's right. Yeah, that's the only way we can actually be in the same room together is if we're making a commercial.
All right. It's a shame.
Wink, wink.
Family troubles.
I mean, technically, that is the truth.
Yes.
All right, folks, let's get on with some good old-fashioned news, some interesting stuff going on in the world out there of hemp, of course. There was a man and a woman. They were violently arrested for smoking hemp in public in North Carolina. And again, apparently the woman was punched like 17 times in this tiny little town. The police department is now getting sued because they were not doing anything illegal. The cops were apparently, and again, this is all according to the lawsuit that was filed, the police there were harassing black people that were smoking marijuana in public exponentially more than they were harassing the white people. So the lawsuit states these two black people were waiting for the bus, legally smoking hemp, all right, THCA flower. They even told the police officers that, and supposedly the police officers had prior knowledge of knowing that THCA flower was in fact legal. That's what the other part of this lawsuit states, is that these police were well knowledgeable already on this issue, but they chose to violently arrest these two people, and now the police department is getting sued. And so they're going to get exactly what they deserve. I truly believe that. We'll see. So 7 businesses are going after the governor in Virginia over the THC rule change there. So that's probably going to work out well for Virginia. We'll see. Everywhere else, for the most part, that gets sued, the government usually ends up losing. I I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm guessing I've probably reported on 20 to 30 precedents all over the country. And, from since we started the show, that's over, that's over the span of 300 and something episodes of states saying, well, we're going to ban this and then getting sued, or, we're going to change this and getting sued. And 99% of the time, I say 90% of the time, the state, the government loses. So we'll see what happens in Virginia. Texas is already getting sued over their D8 ban. And again, Texas is going after D8 now, like it's a felony that'll get you 10 years in jail for having Delta 8 in Texas. And so, yes, they're going to get sued. And this is this is where I have to say we are in fact going to go full circle on this show, because I know that one of the first state lawsuits that I reported on here on the High Noon Hemp Show way back in the day was Texas getting sued over Delta 8. It was like one of the first ones in the country. And the state lost, and Delta 8 was back on the shelves. And that could have been 6 years ago. I guarantee it was probably every bit of 4 years ago. I wish, I can't even say pre-COVID to post-COVID. Honestly, the High Noon Hemp Show just rolled through COVID like, nothing really happened. And so, it's just so crazy to think that it was even possible for the state to ban Delta 8 again, because again, that's what I know was they already tried, and it went to the federal court. I remember went to the federal court. Federal court said no. Once again, this is where I saw some of the first protections under consumerism laws. Federal court said no. This is a legal byproduct of hemp, and you can't just make it illegal. You either have to make all hemp byproducts illegal or make no hemp byproducts illegal. And that's where the Delta 8 thing, that's where they won in court in Texas all those years ago. And so I feel like I feel like if the people representing whoever decided to sue Texas at this point isn't walking into court and saying, Judge, here's the federal ruling that was made 6 years ago. Why is this even happening? And over, done. Judge says, sorry, Texas, but Delta 8 is not illegal here. It is not. You cannot ban it. So we'll see what happens in that court case. But again, if whoever's suing the state is worth their weight in gold and they've done any research, they're already going to know that someone's already done that and won over specifically Delta 8. Again, I think the Texas lawsuit way back in that day set a pretty big precedent against Delta 8. I think it also opened up some eyes, and then everybody's like, oh, what is this Delta 8? And then again, by the time everybody was really paying attention to, like, in all honesty, it's really just a ridiculously stupid move. Because, yes, Delta 8 is popular, but it's not hugely used. And most people don't search out just Delta 8 products. It's usually added into, say, a nighttime gummy or a nighttime vape, because it is very much, its side effects are very much on the downside. And again, I think that's, when it became popular, all those years ago, shortly after 2018, when hemp was taken off the controlled substance list, and the hemp industry, hemp farming and the hemp industry was, full blown, and we're discovering all of these um, other cannabinoids and whatnot. And again, delta 8 is naturally occurring. It's naturally occurring so low, though, that they have to take, say, CBD and change it into delta 8. And that process is synthetic, as they say, because basically the definition of a synthetic substance is taking one thing and making it into another. Synthetic has a bad rap, and I still look at the word synthetic as a bad word, because for the most part, we tend to stereotype synthetic into oil-based whatever, clothing, fiber, whatever it may be. And, my problem with that before was the pollution caused by making those things, not the end products. For a long time, I couldn't argue about the end products because, yes, exponentially, hemp or synthetic material made from, say, oil is 1,000 times stronger than the strongest natural fiber, which is hemp. And so, but now, as we've evolved to learn of the nanoplastics that are all over the planet, from the highest parts, the highest mountains, to the deepest seas, to inside us, blood, semen, breast, milk, all of it, we're finding that's all a byproduct of synthetic clothing, polyester being the most popular one. When you wash it, nanoplastics into the water. When you dry it, nanoplastics into the air. All day long. All day long. So now it's like a double whammy. It's not I used to say the pollution was the problem before. That's why we should be using natural materials. Now it's like it's just everything. Everything about it is bad. So, anyway, all right. Here is a picture of Magoo. I'm adding Magoo to my popular deities list, I want to say, because Magoo is the Taoist hemp goddess of longevity. All right. Also known as the hemp maiden. I discovered this just because there's I think, I don't know, it was an Asian company. I want to say Japanese, but I don't want to stereotype. And they had started a hemp clothing company, and they had named it Magoo, this, that, and all the other. And so I'm surprised that I'm just learning about this Taoist hemp goddess of longevity. But now I'm going to go, do a little research. I do know a little bit about Taoism. It is very much a eco-friendly Eastern Orthodox belief system. And when I say eco-friendly, I mean the respect of all things nature and whatnot. Not quite as extreme as the Jainists, who are the most extreme environmentally friendly Eastern Orthodox belief system, in my opinion. I've done a lot of research on all things religion, because I do a lot of research on all things, and that's what it is. Anyway, and so Magoo, it does sound funny when you say it. I feel like I'm saying like Mr. Magoo, It's like Goddess Magoo. I got to just call her Goddess Magoo.
Goddess Magoo.
Goddess Magoo.
How well she can see.
You know, right? And longevity. You gotta be down with that. And,
Right.
and again, once again, the the affiliation with hemp and the goddess of longevity is not by accident, because the longevity of the hemp um, is what made them give hemp its own goddess. All right. The history of using hemp in Japan um, is at first very much elitist, and also very much only the uh, it's not the samurais, but it'll come to me. But anyway, it has long history in Japan, as well. And so, and again, I don't know if this comes out of Japan, possibly China. I mean, obviously, the history of hemp in China is very far back. And so I'll have to do a little more. But anyway, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. So we had the article was about testing hemp sheets over a year period, time span. So the best overall were these avocado organic. And I will have to say that the price has also been like slashed immensely with these at avocado. And so I did know that avocado was doing. I've talked about the avocado sheets before. But yeah, the price point now on those, which were rated the best overall. And again, there was many categories from how they held up and how they felt and all these categories that they chose these for. Now the best bamboo blend was the Attitude Clean Bamboo Hemp, and I know I've talked about them before, and the only reason I remember talking about this, and I feel like I've included all these. Maybe it was over a year ago where it was just on a list of best hemp sheets, and they just, I don't know, maybe it's or this is whatever. But the only problem I have with these is that they're mostly bamboo, and they're only a third hemp or so. And the problem that I have with bamboo as a material is, as a plant, yes, it's very eco-friendly because it grows so fast and so tall that it's super efficient there. But what I have learned is that it's much like cotton, whereas it's the process of um, of making the fiber into material that is not eco-friendly, requiring quite a bit of water. And so that's where we kind of have to be careful. Um, I really like the idea of say wood replacement items being made out of bamboo, because I don't think that process would be as hard. And bamboo is like super strong. And again, because it grows so quickly, it's one of the efficient parts of it, and because it grows so tall. And I'm almost sure that it does not need any um, pesticides or herbicides. I mean, all you have to do is plant some bamboo in your yard somewhere, anywhere in the world, and watch it take over. And you don't have to. Nobody ever sprays anything. This is just what I know from personally seeing what bamboo does, just on its own in small spaces. So, the efficiency of the plant totally makes sense. So the best organic, which I also find interesting, because again, hemp is organic by nature. Now, of course, in order to call something organic in the United States, it has to have been grown in organic soil. It's not a testing that they do afterwards. It's tests that they do on the soil that rates the soil, and then you can call whatever from oranges to hemp, you can call it organic. And so, but hemp is organic by nature. Hemp does not require any herbicides or pesticides. There is no pest or weed that will make a hemp field not get what you want out of it if you're growing for fiber or seed. Even if the spider mites cover your seeds at the end of the harvest, they're all just shaken off. It's all shaken off. It's all surface, and so it's done. And so, and that does not happen in large scale hemp production. That's, as we know, that's small scale cannabis. And there is a hemp weevil, um, but it has never destroyed a crop. It just exists. And so, there's never been a hemp weevil situation that destroyed an entire hemp crop. The worst that it does is it gets into some of the plants, and then that fiber is inferior only because it chews through and shortens the fiber. Instead of having that one piece that runs from the root to the top of the plant, you may have multiple pieces because the weevil went through there. But anyway, and then you have the best untreated hemp, which is from one of my favorite hemp companies, raw. And I don't know if they're organic. I always want to call them organic. I don't know. Again, I should know how their name is pronounced. They have had. They have made their own products and also had one of the best websites for hemp products for at least 20 years. And so, if you're just looking for any general hemp stuff, you want to go to their website first, because they're dedicated to the hemp, and they're dedicated to hemp in all its forms. They are, that department store retail site for hemp goods, and so it's good to see. And again, the best untreated hemp, again, it's, I don't understand why that isn't that the same as organic. No, the difference is this was grown in soil that's not rated organic, but guess what? They didn't treat the hemp, and so that's the same thing as putting on non-organic hemp seed, say, no pesticides or herbicides used. All right, and so you're not saying it's organic, but you're clearly saying we didn't spray anything on it, because again, how the organic rating works. And almost all of it can put natural, because you only have to be 70% natural to call yourself natural. That's how the natural label works when it comes to food product, or that could be any product, I suppose. All right. So these young ladies in Suffolk at the Contemporary Hempery. They've been growing hemp for 4 years. And what they're doing is they work and they do a lot of it right now as far as processing and making the hemp into material. I don't want to assume, but I would like to assume that the clothing they have on is the material that the clothing that they're making out of this. There's a couple things I find interesting is the fact that they're using a hedger to cut their hemp down, and again, a sharp edger would work. Again, that's a sickle is one of the best ways to harvest for the fiber. Now, the modern sickles are like I don't know if they're I don't want to say laser, but they're futuristic. But even a regular modern sickle attached to the front of, say, a combine would work just like what they're doing here. The only problem that I have with what they're doing here is they both have open-toe shoes on.
Right.
That's the only problem that I have with this whole operation. And again, if that's how they cut their hemp field down, I mean, them girls are working. And so I get it. But, I mean, using what they're doing as low to the ground as they're doing how they're doing, I'm still wearing boots. They need to put their hemp boots on and get back out there. No. Anyway, I love this. This is they can probably at least try to rationalize with getting as much money as they want out of the clothing that they make. Because just to know that, they were the ones cutting it down, and they mentioned how they leave it in the field and they read it in the field and all this, and they had they had a small decorator. And then, and so it's a pretty neat little operation they got going on over there at Suffolk. And you still have to have a license from the government to grow for hemp for the purpose of clothing in Great Britain. Or the UK, I should say, I think for the most part. I don't know how it works in some of the different countries in the UK, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Most of them, I believe, are allowing hemp, and I would only guess that they are, in fact, licensed and well regulated. Here's a good look at the new Astrals. Astral's always done a good job of having a decent selection of hemp shoes out there. This is the Loyak Easy HT. Again, as you can see, it does have 3 different colors, and they're unisex. They don't have men's and women's. They just have the size, what the size is in men's and women's. And if you don't know, generally, I think most people do know this. A women's go up a size and a half. So if you wear, say, a size 9 in women's, you wear a 7.5 in men's. I think is how that's supposed to work, or something. I know there's something like that. But anyway, why they're not the same, I freakingly don't know. Again, it's another one of those things where I don't understand how the women's industry. I guess they can't be the same. Although I don't know. I guess that makes sense. It just makes sense. I don't know. I don't know why it can't be a size 6.5. And if you wear a size 6.5, it fits your foot. Why does it have to be women's or men's? You know what I mean? It's like, why does it have to be a women's 6.5 and a men's 6.5? That's just stupid. Can't we all just get along here? Anyway, one size for all. That's how pro-equality I am. One size for all. One size for... Anyway, that's why I never wanted to get into women's fashion either. They can't even decide on one size rating just inside the women's industry. Anyway, no. Care about them. But I like these. They definitely look like something that I could yak in. And so, pretty cool. And they also have a clothing line now, I believe. I think they make... pretty sure they may make pants, probably tops, hemp as well. So more on pants in a minute. These are the panels. This is the company Zagreen. But these were the panels I was describing on last week's show as far as prefabricated hemp panels as construction materials. Pretty sure I know it was Europe, Germany maybe, I forget. But anyway, hempcrete in all forms is becoming more and more popular. This fits a gap that I have not seen yet. Or actually, this kind of evolves because this, to me, those panels look like that's an entire wall. So you could frame your wall in with your load bearing material, and then just pop these in there, and cover them up. Because again, technically, it's still referred as insulation. I also think, like, as far as using for rooftop, as far as a concrete insulation as rooftop, this looks like is, again, you just build your roof frame and build it so you can just pop these down in there and frame it in, seal them, frame them in. And so large scale prefabrication is out there. They're prefabricating large scale hempcrete houses. And so all types of prefabricated hemp products are going to gain momentum in the industry, no matter what it is. And there's a ton of gaps to be filled here. Honestly, Europe is now, I feel like, exponentially getting out there. And again, because Europe has been on the hempcrete since the 90s. The first hempcrete house, modern hempcrete house, was built in 1988 in France. And France built a lot of things out of hempcrete, including the gendarme boxes where the police were, because it was flame retardant. And now they're building 5-7 story hempcrete buildings. And so, the rest of Europe is now catching up with, catching up with them, and we're still behind all that, honestly, here in the United States. Here's the recipe I also forgot to send over last week, so you didn't have. But this is the best. They did it. The best brain health smoothie recipe. The best. Says it. They're the best. So we'll leave this up there for a minute because, why would you not want the best brain health smoothie recipe? I don't know. It just seems like a ridiculous thing to not want. Of course it has hemp in it, because hemp is great for the brain. Hemp is great for the body. So give you another minute there to do a screenshot. If you're on a old school computer, you can snipe it. If that's still, I guess you can still do that if you're on a PC. That's what. It's still a screenshot either way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's look at some pants.
All right.
Let's just see what we got here. These are the Patagonia all season hemp canvas double knee pants. These are definitely your fall outdoor wear type of pant. I did not go as far as to see if they included American grown, United States grown hemp, but to be honest with you, at this point, I would find it very hard to believe that any of the Patagonia hemp stuff doesn't include some amount of hemp grown in the United States, if not all. At this point, just because, again, my American grown hemp shorts and hat are probably at least 4 years old at this point. And so if they haven't evolved into including it in all of their hemp clothing, I would be very surprised. Very, very surprised. Here's some ladies or men's if you think they'd look good on you. This is the Tullum moth embroidered hemp pants, and I guess you'd have to go to their website. I didn't really see where their website was, but what I love about these is it's not a butterfly; it's a moth. Just so you know, but they look like a very comfortable pair of fallish, early fall, spring pants. I think our summer has been pretty mild here, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
check those out. Either way, and then here are what are called the regenerative hemp pants. And these are at that, it says Mate the Label. That I believe that was the website where these were listed. And again, a very kind of lightweight, springy, even maybe a good yoga workout pant because they're kind of baggy, kind of loose fitting, which you'd want. I think maybe not. I don't know. Either way, I do my yoga in shorts, but yeah. So, but I believe those were at the Mate the Label website. Regenerative hemp pants, and then these last are the hemp Gramicki. I can't believe that's what it is. Pant straight fit. These are kind of a men's. I don't know if they're lightweight or not because I cannot tell really with the thickness in the picture. But they're not like a jean. They're definitely more like a thick linen, maybe kind of weave. Again, kind of loose fitting, which is the comfortable part. I don't want to call them sweatpants, but they do kind of have that sweatpant look.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, those are sweatpants I would wear to Walmart. No, and I mean, sweatpants in public is a look. I mean, whether I agree with it or not, it has somewhat become a look. So, I feel like if these are kind of sweatpant material looking, then there you have it. So there's a good little selection of what's out there on the old internet. And again, folks, here's all I did. I just went to the old Google search bar and I popped in the old hemp pants and I hit enter. And, I had to get through some of the sponsored stuff, and I had to get through some of the first listings were actually stuff that was not hemp, but obviously uses the word hemp to get you to look at their non-hemp stuff. But once you get down past all that, then you start, you find the stuff. And this is, I don't know, I've said it 100 times on the show. If you need something, search for it on the old interweb and be very vague at first. Don't try to get intrusive. If you need a hemp toothbrush, just search hemp toothbrush. See what pops up. There's a good chance that it'll be my eBay auction. I can only hope. And it'll also be Radius' website, because they do a very good job of marketing their products. It's a huge, huge toothbrush company. They make toothbrushes out of everything. Honestly, they have a coffee handle toothbrush. They're very much on the trying to find alternative substances that are natural and whatnot. So there you have it. And so you can shop that in confidence and knowing that even if I don't ever have those heads available anymore, their website will always, I feel like, have heads to that toothbrush that I showed earlier on the show. But I'd like your business first to at least sell you the hemp toothbrush, because then you're buying it from the oldest hemp store possibly in the world as well.
It's true.
You can brag about that to your friends. I bought a toothbrush from the oldest hemp store in the world, true hemp store. And I'm still waiting for someone to challenge that. I'm not saying that somewhere there is a true hemp store that's over almost 31 years old.
Mm-hmm.
If you know of one, please let me know, because I'll do a whole show on them.
Right.
Straight up props, yo. I will lose in pride, just like I would lose any of my world records in pride. Of all the world records I've set, somebody out there wear 4 pieces of head case clothing and not 2 head case t-shirts, because then I'll put 7 head case t-shirts on. The problem is with that is there were no other head case products. And if I'm flaking on that, I would be very much surprised. But to me, because they started with the hats, and then they did the clothing, the t-shirts and the boxers. But I don't believe they ever made anything pant-wise or short-wise. They never made socks, and they never made shoes. So, I mean, that pretty much covers it. I think the maximum amount, the only thing you could possibly do is tie my world record setting of head case hemp products in one outfit. All right. Well, I think that's just about all I got for us. If you got a question, shoot it my way right now, and I'll answer it. If not, my thoughts have been there. And I want to, as always, the appreciation of those that watch live. Thank you. And those that watch later. Thank you. And we will be back next week for season 30, episode 1.
Crazy.
What will next season be all about, folks? Oh, probably hemp. Yeah.
Talk about hemp, most likely.
That's similar goods. Yeah. So we don't, there may be some new villains. A lot of old villains, but a lot of heroes. A lot of heroes in next season of the High Noon Hemp Show.
That's right.
Remember, folks, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See you all next week.